Hey love bugs, welcome back to another Tarot Lover Reviews. Today we are taking a look at the Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot created by Wayne Rodney. Now, if you knew of this tarot deck or you did not know about this tarot deck, hopefully this review and the flip through that comes at the end helps you to decide on whether or not this tarot deck is right for you. Now, if you want to skip through and go straight to the flip through, take a look at my description. I break all of the suits out into chapters to make it a lot easier for you to start where you would like to. But for now, we are going to talk about the box, the packaging. We're going to talk about the guidebook of this tarot, and we're going to talk about the cards and what you should know about them. So if you are interested in that, stick around. If not, feel free to fast forward to the flip through. So first things first, we are going to talk about the box, the packaging. So this is what it looks like. Now, this tarot deck was published by US Games, so you can find this tarot deck on their website. The box opens like so, and then this is the interior of the box. So you can see that it is a thick box, which means that your cards will be well protected just in case it falls to the floor. And then you also do have the ribbon that helps to take your tarot deck out of the box. So that is the packaging. Let's talk about the guidebook. Now, the guidebook, I absolutely love how Wayne wrote out his guidebook. Typically, it's two different people who work on a tarot deck. One does the guidebook, the other one does the art on the tarot cards. Wayne did both. So I really like the way that he set up his guidebook. This is the front and this is the back. Like I said, I enjoy the way that he set up his guidebook. In the beginning, he gives an introduction. He explains, kind of like the background of tarot and why he chose to do what he chose, a little bit of a background on himself. And then he goes into talking about the cards and the secrets and the alchemy and the court cards and why he set up the pages or the knaves the way that he did. So I really appreciate the way he laid everything out. It is a beautiful read. Normally, I do not read the entire guidebook. This guidebook I loved. I love the way that he describes each of his cards. He invokes a feeling when it comes to describing each of his cards in the tarot deck. It is beautiful. As you saw with some of them, you do get that beautiful description, and then you also get keywords off to the side to help explain further what that tarot card is exactly. And then, of course, as you saw, you have full color of each of the cards within the guidebook, which is greatly appreciated. You do get tarot spreads towards the end of the book, so that's always helpful, especially if you are a new tarot reader. You can at least utilize those, start off with those with your new tarot deck. So again, that's super helpful. Always helpful when it comes to guidebooks when there is at least one card spread in there that you can utilize, even if it's your typical card spread. Other than that, it's a fantastic guidebook, and it's a really thick guidebook considering. So I love this. Now let's talk about the cards. So this is the back of the cards. Okay. And as you can see, it is kind of like a glossy, but it's a matte. It's a slight gloss, but it's pretty much a matte texture to the cards, which I appreciate because then that means the cards won't slide around everywhere ridiculously like it would if it were gloss. The card size is your standard tarot card size. So 12 centimeters by 7 some odd centimeters width. But yeah, perfect cardstock Cardstock is what I call Goldilocks zone. And that basically means that it makes for a fantastic shuffle. When you bend the cards, and I mean it when I say shuffle, I mean it as like a bridge poker shuffle that some tarot readers do. I know some, most of us tend to do, just the over under kind of method, right? But I know some of us out there like to shuffle in a poker style shuffle. So I like to make sure that I mention the cardstock because some tarot cards out there are too thin. They're like paper to where they just bend way too much. And then there's cardstock that's way too thick to where you can't shuffle your cards in that poker style shuffle. Doesn't mean that you have to do it that way. It's just one of many that you can utilize, but I like to give you a visual of exactly what I'm talking about in regards to the cardstock, because of course you can't hold the cards right now until you purchase them. So definitely I feel like this is a perfect cardstock, perfect thickness to these cards. It's beautiful. Now, let's talk about the imagery on the cards. So, comparing it to the standard Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, you do get image-wise, there are hints of the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery within the images of his cards, right? So here's the Two of Pentacles to give you an example. You see the Two of Pentacles from the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery in this card. It's just with Wayne's own twist, own interpretation of that particular card. So you do get the same type of imagery with the Rider-Waite-Smith in this particular tarot deck, but not all the cards. Major Arcana, there are going to be some big differences with some of the cards. So you won't necessarily be able to tell exactly what that card is, but there are subtle hints as to what that card will represent. Minor Arcana, the imagery, majority of them follow the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery, but the aces do not. The aces do not follow the standard imagery. This is Wayne's own twist on the Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. So it's not going to be the same. He based it off of, you feel the heritage, you feel the diversity in this tarot deck. It is the characters that you see, they're all different. They're all different characters, all walks of life. And it just makes it very diverse. And I love this. I will say that this tarot deck wouldn't have been a tarot deck that I would have picked for myself. But the metaphysical shop that I go to, the owner knows me very well. I've known them for years. And they had just gotten this tarot deck in, and they were like, Tawny, I think you might enjoy this one. And I actually had to decline. I'm like, I've been looking at that one, but I don't know. And normally when that happens, it's because I'm not ready for that particular tarot deck just yet. I have not seen all of the cards. I just know that I'm not ready for that tarot deck right now. It's intriguing to me, but yeah. So I didn't quite get it at that time. It took me probably a month or so, a couple of months before I actually decided to pick it up because I had the urge to purchase it. So I'm like, okay, this tarot deck is ready for me. I'm all for it. And I'm so happy that I did. I love the imagery. It is different, but I enjoy the imagery. So yeah. The suits and the naming conventions. So the Major Arcana does not have the names on them, okay? But it does have the numbers on them. So it's kind of, if you've been doing tarot long enough, you kind of know what that card is. But I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory with some of them. you know exactly what that tarot card is. The minor arcana does not follow the Rider-Waite-Smith naming convention. So you don't have, I mean, you can find it within, you know, the book, use the guidebook. I will always tell you to use the guidebook, but the naming conventions are not the same as your Rider-Waite-Smith. So the cards, I will show you this. They're based off of suits, like literal poker suits. So your diamonds are your pentacles, or in this case, gems. So you have gems, you have vessels, which is your cups, and cups are hearts. And then you have blades for your swords, which is clubs. And then wands, sticks is the suit for this one. And they are represented with a club. Or I think I may have said club for swords. Spades are for swords, clubs are for wands. So it does take a little bit of getting used to when it comes to the suits, knowing what suit it is. But again, you know, once you kind of understand what the symbols are symbolizing, you get the hang of it. But yeah, there are no bonus cards in this deck, which is totally fine. You don't need them. Yeah, other than that, I am pleasantly surprised. I did not think I would like this tarot deck, but I do. Oh, I do want to mention one thing in regards to court cards. Court cards, the pages in the court cards is called knaves, and they look a little bit different than the rest of the court cards. So the rest of the court cards do not look like this, where it's like you have a younger version and an older version. Basically, this is like the knave turning into a knight kind of thing, right? So that's the difference that you will find within the court cards. Other than that, everything else is beautiful, gorgeous. If this review has helped you in any way, be sure to leave a like and take a look at my channel. Let me know if, you know, there's a tarot deck that you don't see that you might be interested in. Leave a comment and let me know what that tarot deck is. But yeah, without further ado, enjoy the flip through and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.